episode of The Set. I'm your host, Shine. You know, this is a situation where we have good people, good vibes, just here to have a good time and have a good conversation. So tonight on this episode, I got somebody that's very near and dear to me, Stephanie. What you want to go by? Stephanie? I call her Steph.
Steph will be fine.
Steph, okay.
Steph will be fine.
Steph, the Steph. I call her the Steph. If you know it, you already know what that's about. So we're going to open it up with Sipping No Shade Lemonade. Tonight, our flavor is mango lemonade. Y'all check out that mango lemonade. No Shade Lemonade. Y'all check them out at the bottom of the screen. All of their information is down there. Go ahead and order. They got these size bottles. They now have half gallon. So y'all get a half gallon if you can't take a whole gallon. But I promise you, it's going to change your life. So let's take a sip right quick. Mm-hmm.
Very refreshing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice.
No, real smooth. That No Shade Lemonade. So, yeah, get y'all a bottle, No Shade Lemonade. Check them out wherever you get your beverages from. Well, maybe not wherever you get your beverages from, but y'all check out the information at the bottom of the screen. Support No Shade Lemonade, black-owned business. Our drink sponsors. God bless you. So, still, we gonna do a mental health check-in like we do every episode.
Okay.
Want to know how you doing on a scale from 1 to 10, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually.
Okay, I'll say today I'm a 6 with all of them.
Across the board, you
Across the board,
it's
I'm
a
a
6
6 today.
But that's over 5, so you
Okay.
thanking God for that. So for me, I say, cause it's been kind of a long day for me. So mentally and emotionally, I say I'm at about a 6.5, 7 right now.
Okay.
Physically, I'm gonna say I'm probably about 7. About 7. Spiritually, I'm at about a 7.5, 8. Cause I like this. It's always room for improvement. Cause I'm still here. I ain't made it yet, so it's always room for improvement. So we were talking a couple days ago, and then not even a couple days ago when I first started the pod, you had seen me and you was like, it's so much going on in the city, like we need to talk about this on your podcast. And like I done told you before, just because of your background and even you know what I'm saying, just where you are in life, period, like there's a testimony, there's a certain group of people that I may never be able to reach, that you will be able to reach. And if we work together, we can, you know what I'm saying, help the whole of our community. Because it is last year, the coroner Fowler, he had a processional going downtown Albany of, I think it was like 22 hearses from just murders in the city. And then I know the same thing happened a couple years ago. Same thing, 20 murders in the city. Like, just senseless murder on top of, you know, people just dying off from other causes. And then even like you had made mention to me about those 22 hearses for the murder case wasn't even including those that died from drug overdose.
Exactly.
It was even more that we lost the drug overdose in the city. So my thing is, first I know this conversation, we gonna need 2 episodes just to cover everything. So the first, I wanna get some of your backstory, some of your history about where you come from, and you know what I'm saying, just your journey to where you are now.
Okay, like she said, my name is Stephanie, and my journey is kind of a long journey. Spiritually, I was raised up in the church, but you know, we all go astray. I went astray. And at such a young age, I went through a lot. At the age of 12, I was pregnant. So, and it began to, before then, I began to down spiral because things that had happened. And so at the age of 12, I was pregnant, and it came with a lot of shame, a lot of just, you know.
Now, how exactly, because I know people probably watching, they like, how a 12-year-old get pregnant? Like, not how a 12-year-old get pregnant, but like what? Because a lot of times we focus on what's wrong. So I was reading this book by Oprah and this doctor friend of hers, and it's called "What Happened to You." And he was in the book. They was talking about how a lot of times people ask what's wrong with you, but they don't ask what happened to you, and they just judge off the outward appearance of what the result is, but they don't get down to the root issue. So, and I don't think, because we've done a couple part, the other part we did, I was behind the camera. Yeah. So this is a question that I've never heard asked to you. What was going on surrounding that time? Like, what happened to cause you on the downward spiral that eventually led to you getting pregnant at 12? Because was your pregnancy a result of sexual assault, or, you know what I'm saying, molestation, or, you know what I'm saying, or was it consensual? Like, what happened lead you to down that path?
Right. Okay, I would say molestation at a younger age before then started me to the point where I was liking love. I felt like I was looking for love. I felt like I was looking for love. I came up in a home where my grandmother, I would say, raised us. My mom was there, but not on hand like my grandmother. Yeah. And she was always working in at church. Yeah. And I didn't have a father in the home. So it was like I was just looking for love. I was searching. As a young girl, I was just searching. Yeah. And so it was consensual. It was consensual. But the behavior, things that led up to it,
is what kind of spurred that on. And so that's kind of, like I said, because people just hear that, and it's just, you know, it paint a bad picture. Even how you were saying, like, it brought a lot of shame on you. So you know, just talk about that, because I know I kind of came in the middle of it.
I would say because at the time I was still in my grandmama's house. My grandmother was still in the church, and I was shamed because I knew she was shamed. I was hurt because I felt like I hurt her. Yeah. And I know she did the best she could to raise us. You know, even though she had to work to provide for us. And she went to church, and because that's who she was. And I was mostly hurt and shamed because I seen the pain on her face. Yeah. So, and then another reason why I was hurt because people that I was playing with, other children, they wasn't allowed to speak to me. They had to shun me because I was considered then the bad girl. They didn't know what happened, but you know, I was protocol to be. She did this, so we gonna have to shun. Y'all can't play with her. We got to shun her, and so I stopped going to school because you got those teachers, principals whispering. But I felt like nobody never said what happened.
What happened?
To this day, you just asked. Wow. And I've been wondering that over 50 years. Why nobody asked me?
What happened?
What happened? What led up to that? I never heard it.
Yeah. Because my thing is, and you know what I'm saying, correct me if I'm wrong, it's like when I hear that, especially when you tell the what happened, like the underlying root cause of it, it don't sound like a girl just out here being loose and fast. But that's perception that people would have. Yeah. And I want to know if that in turn caused you to drift even further because of this is what they're projecting this stereotype on me, and they treat me like this anyway. So if I'm gonna be hated regardless, I might as well be with this person that they're painting me out to be. So am I right in my assumption of it wasn't that you just was fast? No. It just was. You know what I'm saying? Like you say, you was out here looking for. You were a victim of molestation at a younger age than 12. So already you've been introduced to sexual activity, something that as a child you can't even grasp the concept of it fully. Yes. So and it ain't. And here's the thing. Sex, it's a pleasurable experience, especially if you're not being raped. So in your mind, you processing that. Oh, this feel good. So what's the wrong in it?
And my thing was, I would say at a time, and I'm so glad you asked that question, because like I say, I tried to bring that out one time in a church setting. And it was
bring out what exactly now?
that what had happened to me.
Okay.
I tried to bring it out. And I think I was more, because I felt like no one never asked what happened.
Yeah.
Why it happened to you.
Yeah.
No one never asked. And I tried to bring that out. And it didn't go as I planned. And so for you to ask me that, I'm so glad you did. Because I had a lot, my mother and my grandma was at church. And I was 10. And at the time, the person that my mother was, her third husband that was married to, he died. And I was like, why did God let that happen? Yeah. And I felt like that they was at church. But God let this happen. So I felt like the love was there. And then, you know, you come up in a house, what goes on in this house, stays in this house. Yeah. So we going to keep this hush. We don't want nobody to know about it. But I'm the only one suffering with the pain. Yeah. I'm the only one hurt. Yeah. So that made me want to rebel. They made me just want to leave, and I started running away. Because I felt like y'all just loving God, but nobody sees me. Yeah. Y'all at church. Grandma, y'all at church sun up to sundown. But this happened to me. And I'm not allowed to talk about it. Because you want to keep this, you just want to pray over it.
And then were they protecting your abuser, or what was the
they wasn't protecting him. I think her thing was,
what was their response to this individual?
My mother's response was, I'm just gonna leave him alone. But my grandma's response was, I'm gonna give it to God. God gonna see about it. Cause you know, we're gonna just keep this in the house and God gonna fix it. Y'all should call the police. Yeah. That was my thing. Yeah. And so that turned me. That turned me. And I could understand the person that my grandma was. In her mind, she really thought that God's gonna
now, could you say you understand that now, or could you understand that
I couldn't understand it then.
Okay. That's my thing.
I couldn't understand it then.
But you see.
But as I got older and knew the person and the godly woman that she was, I know.
But two things can be true. You need to call the police. Yeah. You can still trust God and dial 911.
But at the time, you know.
Yeah, but with
older people then, what goes on stayed in the house.
Yeah.
So that was my thing, and it just took me to, I just went to running away from home, just searching. Yeah. Because I felt like nobody protected me. They didn't protect me. I knew she loved me. Yeah. But I wanted somebody to protect me. And so I was running away and ran into a little guy, and he was telling me the right thing, and I felt like it was love. I didn't even know what love was. Yeah. And it went from there. And this dying spell.
And see, and that's why I asked that, because I think we as people, we make assumptions based off of, you know, just what we thinking. You never take the time to get to know.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and it really is a thing of patience and curiosity, and just really caring. We don't care enough to find out the full story. Yeah, we just go off of what it appears. Exactly. Oh, she walked around her 12 years old. She was fast. She was hot.
Not knowing. They didn't know before then. I was an all-A student.
See, y'all didn't know that.
Me and my mama was talking about one day. She was telling them. She said Steph used to get E's. They didn't give her A's because she was excellent. She sailed over. They didn't know that. Up until then, I was an all-A student.
Wow. So now, I heard you say, you know. Now, how do you feel? I know you saying, as you speaking as a child, like, why did God allow this? And God, you know what I'm saying? Did you blame God for what happened?
I never blamed him. I never blamed him. Yeah. Because I always knew, you know, I was more so angry. I didn't blame him. I was just, at the time, because I was raised that, you know, everything, if it's dealing with the church, it's right. So you just suppress that and you find another outlet to get over it. And that's what I did.
Okay. So we got you at 12 years old, you're pregnant, and you say you just, you know, dealing with all these emotions of shame and just guilt and hurt. that was unresolved.
Yes.
Now, moving forward, like what happened after that? After once you know, in dealing with that, where did that take you?
It took me to a life of drugs.
Okay. So what was your first experience? So this was after you had the baby at 12?
After I had the baby, and I just.
So what was your life like after once you had the baby? Like as far as your family life, the people that you know were surrounding you.
I still felt like that they was misjudging me. Mm-hmm. I was crying for help, you know, but I felt like if they would have said, okay, you made this mistake, we're gonna get back on the right track. But I felt like that my grandmother was like, because I never forget it, I was 12. I had him December the 4th. Mm. December the 25th, when they out of church, opened up that Christmas present, and I said, well, I ain't got nothing. She said, is it on the bed? Talking about the baby. So, I mean,
So really, at 12 years old, or now was you 12 when you had him? You were 13 by this time.
I was 13.
Okay, so by the time you had him, you was 13. So at 13, they treat you. Okay, now you got to grow up.
I'm grown.
You grown.
What you think you gonna missing on the bed?
Wow.
So I never received a present since then. And we got to see about this baby now. Wow. So I felt like, so they telling me, okay,
you got to get out and do something.
So you got to do what you got to do, because we got to buy pampers, we got to buy milk, you got a baby now. You know, you can't open no gift. So I resorted to a little petty stealing. Because I want something.
Yeah.
You know, so everything going on my son. So now, I'm in and out the juvenile, 13, and I got a little petty life of crime, little stuff stealing out of Walmart, Kmart, you know, because I need some stuff.
Yeah.
And it goes from there.
Were you stealing were you stealing just for the thrill, or you stealing out of necessity, like I'm trying to take care of my baby, I ain't just out here.
She took care of my baby.
Okay.
But it was me.
It was you.
I still needed clothes, shoes, this and that.
Okay.
She absolutely took care of my baby.
Okay.
And she felt like, you got a baby. You know.
Now it's time for you to be the mom. Even though you still technically a child.
Yeah. But you got
now with it like, okay, I'm gonna take care of the baby now. However you get back, that's how you get back.
I'm gonna feed you. You in my house.
Okay. So
you in my house now.
You gonna eat and you gonna have to lay your head.
You got somewhere to stay. But now.
Anything extra.
Yeah, you don't got a baby now.
It's on you.
It's on you.
So the life of current, like basically the shoplifting and everything like that started from you just basically trying to take care of it,
I wanted things.
You still, you know, now, because at this point, had you completely dropped out of school, or were you back?
I hadn't dropped out then. I was going to school.
Okay.
I had went back. After I had him, I went back. Mm-hmm. The school was like, I was going when I was pregnant for a while, but the school was like, you know, they was doing a lot of talking, and I remember my PE teacher stood me out and told me to stand up during the whole class of PE.
Jesus.
And that bothered me. Oh, that bothered me. Yeah, she had me to stand up, and then the principal called me, and they was asking a lot of questions and this and that. And but to me, they was like, she fast.
Now, did they do this one-on-one at the school? They didn't call in your guardian or your parent?
They did it with me in the office. And I felt like the way they was saying and looking at each other, I could pick up on vibes.
Right. And that was out of order anyway.
Yeah, y'all were picking.
Yeah, they were picking.
Yeah, so
for the simple fact that you didn't have no action. You didn't have no parent, no guardian.
Y'all just asking me
questions. Y'all out of order anyway.
And then I feel like you picking when you stood me out in PE.
Yeah.
And make me stand there. Oh, I started to call her name, but you made me stand there the whole hour to recess. Yeah. I'm pregnant. You make me stand there.
Right, and you a child, regardless if you pregnant.
So, and I remember plenty of days I would leave home, and I would go down to my friend Carla Jester's house, and her mom and Big Mama would let me sit there, because I was just ashamed to go. I had them try to button the pants up all I could, and I couldn't. Wow. So I did that, and when I had him, I tried to go back, but it was like I just gave up. I gave up. I gave up because But like I said, my grandmother, they was taking care of my son, didn't have anything to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like
But
they kind of stepped in and took my baby.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they just took my baby.
Yeah.
You know, she don't know that, she ain't been taught. You know.
Now, you say they just kind of took your baby.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what did they do for Step? Was Step as the person, the little girl, were you kind of cast aside from that point on as well?
I felt like it. Yeah. I felt like that.
Overlooked and unseen.
I felt like that. Because they was trying to make sure that he was okay. My grandmama, she did everything she could for him. She loved it.
Yeah.
And that was her main focus.
Mm-hmm.
She got this child and the father's not present and her mom's not hand-on with him. And it's my job as his great-grandmother, as her grandmama,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make sure that this child don't go down the road that she went down. And that was her thing.
And at the same time, in the process of doing that, you became alienated and you
Yes.
drifted further.
Yes. Further
into,
and further.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you started shoplifting, and at what point did you, how soon after that did you end up with your next child?
2 years.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. 2 years.
Okay, so 2 years later, you're pregnant again, and you still, at that point, had you drifted further and further into the street, like were you completely in the street life at this point?
Yes, I was in there.
Okay.
I was in there.
Okay, so tell, like, what was the journey to that?
Then I was just out in the streets, going to clubs.
At this point, what you 15, 16?
15.
Okay.
Going to clubs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pregnant again.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So now I got me a little boyfriend or whatever. And I just done left home, and I think my grandma was just like looking like that's just her. If she don't got a taste of it, that's her now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just in the streets.
Yeah.
I'm getting further and further and further. Now I'm constantly getting locked up for petty shoplifting all the time.
Mm.
So I'm out there.
Yeah. So it was never a point between 14 and then your second baby at 16 that you ever
No.
kind of came back. And was there ever any effort on the part of your family to kind of, did they see, or was it that they was so engulfed in what they had going on?
I think
trying to protect.
They was looking at it like that's her.
That's
She
all.
fat. That's her.
She
That's
fat. So even in, you feel like in your family mind, when they saw you come home at 12 pregnant, she fast.
Yeah, that's it. She done messed up.
She done ain't
She done
no
messed
redemption.
up. She done messed up.
Wow. So 16, you pregnant again with your second child. You fully involved in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
What is going on in your life around that time?
I'm staying with my boyfriend or different places in the streets. I'm just out there. Constantly getting incarcerated for stealing.
Now, had you started doing drugs by this time, or?
I had tampered with it, but it got full force when I was 16.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now this was after the second baby.
Mm-hmm.
So
after the second baby.
So your grandma, did she get the second baby too? Or?
No.
Okay, so what happened with the second?
But I was a juvenile. Being incarcerated.
Mm-hmm.
I caught a charge that I was tried as an adult. And I mind you, I was the only child in the state of Georgia until this day ever tried as an adult for $408.76. A personal check. A girl gave me. I ordered a pizza and some stuff, and I went to cash one, and it was $408.76. And I cashed the check, and when the detective Bobby Johnson came, and I said, yes, I did. And they tried me as an adult. And the system could never understand it. Could nobody never understand it out of the state of Georgia. No juvenile ever for a non-violent offense. And that was my first time being that it was going to commit me to the state.
Wow.
And so by that time, I mind you, I had my second child. I was pregnant again 3 weeks later. They be the same age. Okay?
Wow.
So I was sentenced to 10 to 3.
Jeez.
And nobody understood that. I didn't understand it until later, 10 years later. God let me know why.
Okay, and what was that?
He had to preserve me, not punish me. And he spoke to me plain as day. I had to go through that. Because if not, I wouldn't have been here.
Jeez. So it really was protection.
It was protection from God.
Wow. That kind of reminded me of, I was reading about the story of Joseph in the Bible when he was talking about how, like, at the end of the story, his brothers were still feeling like Joseph had something against them. And Joseph was like, nah, you meant it for my bad, but God meant it for good. And he say, he said, God said, he sent me ahead to prepare the way. Like, I had to go through all of that.
I had to.
In order to preserve and prepare the way to save somebody else. So basically you saying kind of like the same, now not in the same sense of you were like how Joseph was innocent, but that imprisonment and that trial, that unjust, like the crime, the punishment did not fit the crime. It did. The punishment did not fit the crime. But like you say, God preserved you, and do you feel like, you know what I'm saying, that kind of in that moment, or did you even feel like it? Well, you probably didn't, because you know the punishment didn't fit the crime at that time.
At the time,
did that kind of, was that kind of eye-opening moment for you? Did that help you change even momentarily from what was your process during that time?
My counselor, I was in the Macon YDC because I was to stay there until I turned 17 to go to prison. And she told me, she said, we never heard of this. We went to the parole board. We don't even understand it because it was only 3 peoples there at the YDC, Macon YDC, that was trial as an adult. Those 2 other girls was charged with murder. I was the only one with that little check. So my counselor was a godly lady. God gave me a godly counselor. She said, I knew you come from a praying family. She said, we don't discuss it, don't nobody understand it, but we know God somewhere in the mix. Why this had to happen. And later down the road, I knew why it had to happen. Yeah.
So you did, did you do the 3? You served 3 years?
What I did was, they came up and let me do 14 months. Okay. And they paroled me out like an adult. They paroled me out. And I was still on adult supervision parole. And so, you know, but they let me parole out after the 14 months.
All right. So at this point, you had the 3rd baby while you were in jail.
I had the 3rd baby while I was incarcerated at the YDC.
This conversation is so good. Like, it's so many gems. I'm learning so much from Steph. Like I said, I've been knowing her forever, and this conversation is just bringing out a whole nother perspective that I did not know. But we gonna cut it right here and pick up next week. Thank y'all again for watching. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, share, comment, tell a friend to tell a friend about this set. I appreciate y'all support. Join us next week for another episode of The Set on Shine. I'm out.